Hello everyone, this is Simon from writtenlegalenglish.com and welcome to this video where I'm going to talk you through my suggested answer for the text I asked you to look at for competition week 5. So let's get started. This is the text I asked you to have a look at. It was taken from a tax alert written by one of the big 4 law firms. There's nothing wrong with it in terms of English. It's absolutely fine. But I wanted you to improve it, bearing in mind the general audience. Now, this is a tax alert. It goes out to a number of different audiences, not necessarily tax lawyers, but also business people, managers, whoever might be interested in this particular area of tax or business. And so I would suggest that we could write this in a way which is a little bit more lively and a little bit more attractive. And one way we could do this is by stressing action and getting rid of some of those nominalizations. For example, you can see up there implementation of, introduction of, revision of. Just saying those nominalizations makes it feel quite clunky and makes it feel quite abstract. I also asked you to have a look at prepositions as well and see if we could redraft the text just a little bit to get rid of some of those prepositions and make the sentences a little bit more alive. So next to me, you can see how I did this, so let me talk you through the changes one by one. Of course, if we want to make the text come alive, we want to use verbs, and that's exactly what I have done at the beginning of those 3 points. I'm saying to implement something, not just implementation of. So using the infinitive here is a lot more powerful in terms of suggesting a message, suggesting something that's going to happen, giving you an action. Implementation sounds bland, it sounds vague, it sounds imprecise. It sounds abstract, but saying to implement something is a lot more punchier and a lot more attractive to the reader. Similarly, introduction is replaced by to introduce, to revise is replaced, revision is replaced by to revise. So just making those 3 changes already makes the text come alive. And of course, you might have chosen to use gerunds instead. Absolutely fine. Implementing the Organisation for Economic Cooperation. Introducing a financial transaction tax. Revising the Directive on Administrative Cooperation. Gerunds, even though they are nouns, gerunds suggest action, suggest purpose, and so they are also great for the beginning of points in a list. On my one-to-one course, I talk about the vocabulary hierarchy that I like to follow, and gerunds and verbs, of course, are much higher on the scale than nominalizations. So what else could we do? Well, I tweaked that introductory sentence a little bit because it says, if you have a look at the original text, the programme indicates that the 3 main priorities of the German presidency during its term will be. If we get rid of that and we say, as I've suggested here, the programme indicates the German presidency has 3 main priorities, then I'm using much stronger language. Has 3 main priorities, not priorities of the German presidency. You can see as I'm reading this out that the revised text is a lot more punchier, a lot more powerful. I've got rid of will be because the text suggests future action. So saying will be here is a tautology. It's saying the same thing twice. So we don't need that extra text. We can get rid of that. You can see I've made the change with EU economy just here next to me. In the because if you have a look at the original form, it says from the digitalization of the economy in the EU. So we've got 2 prepositions in there, which we can get rid of one of them. It makes the sentence sound a little bit less clunky. Now, I've underlined the digitalization of the EU economy because I think if we really understood what was going on here, if I was the author, then I would perhaps think maybe I can say this in a different way. Maybe I can say this in a way to get rid of that nominalization, to bring a verb in there, to use a verb in there, and make that come alive as well. And there were probably 1 or 2 other tweaks I could make to that message. But the main thing I wanted you to get was to use infinitives or gerunds and see if you could just eliminate 1 or 2 of those prepositions. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you agreed with the things that I said. If you don't, if you've got any comments at all, please leave them below. I'd love to have that conversation with you guys. And make sure you hang around for the video that you'll see tomorrow for this week's competition. See you then.